Hey everybody! So today I wanted to make a short video just discussing a couple of signs and symptoms that could indicate your child may be autistic. I am in no way, shape, or form licensed to diagnose or certified to diagnose autism. These are just a couple of signs and symptoms, and I'm just here to provide support and kind of like a little bit of a roadmap if you're not really sure which way to go. So one of the things that, and I'm just gonna kind of go through a list of things that are just off the top of my head that could be indicators of autism. If for any reason you see any of these signs and symptoms, definitely bring them to the attention of your child's pediatrician. If you feel that that pediatrician is not hearing you and you know in your heart and in your gut that something is just not right, get a second opinion. An additional thing I want to stress and urge to the parents that may be watching this and may be kind of in limbo right now, not really sure what's going on with your child. Don't let denial get in the way of you getting help for your child. It's really important that you are proactive. The quicker you react to what may be going on with your child, the better chances you have of getting them help and enabling them to be able to kind of, in a sense, recover from some of the things that may be going on or prevent further things that could be going on with your child. So, number one, the first thing that I want to bring to your attention is, and these are in no sort of order, if your child likes to bang their head against the wall or headbutts, if your child does not make eye contact or kind of looks a little spacey, if your child just seems to not hear you when you're calling them, if you have concerns about their hearing, but you've had their hearing tested and nothing's wrong with their hearing, but when you call them, they just don't respond to you, or you have to call them several times before they respond. If your child does hand flapping, if your child likes to seclude themselves and does not play well with others at all, or for the most part, if your child becomes obsessed with a certain character or TV show, and I mean they are really like living, eating, and breathing this thing. Now that one can be a little tricky because things like Ninja Turtles or certain Disney princesses or little kid shows, kids do tend to become fixated on those things, but it's really important that you kind of pay attention to how serious their obsession is. My son has gone through phases of obsessions over different characters and TV shows over the years. So another thing, if your child has an obsession or fixation with bright lights, if your child has reaction to loud noises like the radio, if you're in the car and you turn the radio up and your child is just like covering their ears, or they're crying and having a real issue every time it seems like you turn the radio up, like these are signs and symptoms that could be strong indicators that your child may fall on the autism spectrum. It's important to have further testing done, but these are just a couple of signs and symptoms. If your child has a developmental delay in their speech, and one of the things is if it seems like somebody just kind of hit the pause button on your child's development, that's really important and it's a red flag, and it's something that you definitely should pay attention to. Since I didn't want to make this video really long, I will say this and kind of close it out. One of the things that can be really helpful is if your child's displaying some of these behaviors, videotape them and take them to the pediatrician. Also, if your child's pediatrician isn't really, if that doctor is really not like sure as to what they're telling you or what the problem could be, ask them to refer you to a developmental pediatrician. A developmental pediatrician is going to more than likely have more knowledge on autism, and they'll be able, in other developmental disorders, or behavior disorders, they are going to be a little bit more knowledgeable on those things. So again, like I said earlier on in the video, don't let denial stop you from getting the help that your child needs. For a long time, I dealt with the issue of denial. I didn't realize that I was in denial for a long time, but I kind of was. I didn't want to accept the fact that my child was going to be special education. It's not a death sentence, and it's not what I consider a detriment to our lives. It's a challenge that presents some barriers, but we meet those challenges and those barriers head on, and a lot of times we are crushing obstacles that come our way. It takes us some time, but over the years I'm looking back and I'm like, I didn't even know that this or that was going on with him, but we met that barrier without even really realizing, and we just crushed it. So everybody's story is not going to be the same. Everybody's story is not mine. Every autistic child is not high functioning. Every autistic child is not a genius or a prodigy. There are other levels of autism. I'm just sharing my story, but if your story is similar to mine, or you feel like you're having a hard time accepting whatever is going on with your child, don't be afraid to meet that challenge head on. Your story could change somebody's life. You may not be by yourself, and if you don't stand up and use boldness and walk through whatever it is that you and your child are facing, you could be doing your child more harm than good. I'm going to post a link, some links below of some resources that you can look into, a checklist of, things, signs and symptoms to look out for autism. And if you have questions, feel free to post them below. I'm just here to provide support to any parent that's in need of it, and any information that I can provide that'll help you along your journey, I'll be more than happy to. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in a week. Bye.